On a cold, quiet morning, decorated Navy Admiral Elena Ward walked toward her daughter's grave with flowers in hand. Every year, she came alone. Every year, she kept her grief locked deep inside. But today, she froze. Someone was already there. A single dad janitor, still in his work uniform, was on his knees at her daughter's headstone, weeping while a little girl clung to his arm. When Elena stepped forward to demand answers, the child turned and whispered something that made the Admiral's heart nearly stop. "Miss, my mommy said your daughter saved her, and me." And just like that, the Admiral's entire understanding of her daughter's life and death began to unravel. Admiral Elena Ward didn't cry easily. Even when her daughter, Lieutenant Sarah Ward, was killed during a humanitarian mission 2 years ago, she stood straight, saluted, and walked away with a face carved from stone. But grief is a strange companion. Some days it sleeps quietly, some days it crushes your chest without warning. Today was one of those days. Elena walked through the cemetery, her boots crunching over the frost, hands tight around a bouquet of white lilies, Sarah's favorite. She rehearsed the same words she said every year: "I'm proud of you. I miss you." She never said anything more because she never knew what else to say. As she approached the grave, she stopped. A man knelt by Sarah's headstone in a faded school janitor uniform, his shoulders shaking. Beside him was a tiny girl holding a stuffed rabbit. For a moment, Elena thought she had come to the wrong grave. But no, she recognized the small seashell necklace lying on the stone. Her daughter collected those from every shoreline she visited. The Admiral's voice sharpened. "Excuse me. What are you doing here?" The man flinched. The little girl squeezed his hand and whispered something. He nodded, wiped his eyes, and slowly stood up. I'm sorry," he said, voice trembling. "We weren't trying to intrude." Elena felt irritation rising with her confusion. "You knew my daughter?" Before the man could speak, the child stepped forward, her big brown eyes glistening. "My mommy knew her," she said softly. "Mommy said your daughter saved her life, and mine." Elena felt the ground shift under her boots. Her daughter died rescuing civilians, but names were never released, details never shared. Elena had begged for answers, but the report was sealed. Classified, they said. Now this stranger, a janitor, was claiming his daughter and wife were part of that day. He introduced himself as Daniel Hayes, a single father who worked at a local public school. The child was Lily, 5 years old, gripping his leg like she was afraid the world might disappear if she let go. Daniel's voice cracked. "My wife, she passed away last year from cancer. But before she died, she told Lily and me that we needed to visit this grave every year. That we needed to thank the woman who gave us a second chance." Elena's breath caught. Her daughter had died saving a family. But this was the first time anyone had ever told her who they were. Daniel reached into his pocket and pulled out something wrapped in tissue, a dog tag. This was your daughter's. My wife kept it safe all these years. She told me to give it to you when Lily was ready." Elena's fingers trembled as she took it. It was Sarah's. Suddenly, the Admiral, the woman who commanded fleets, negotiated crises, and faced down storms without blinking, took a step back as tears finally escaped down her cheeks. Sarah hadn't died nameless. Her sacrifice had names. Faces. A family. And one of them was standing right in front of her. The wind swept through the cemetery, stirring the leaves around them. Elena stared at the dog tag, thumb brushing over the engraved letters S. Ward, her mind racing with questions she had buried for years. "Please," Daniel said quietly, "can we sit for a moment? I think my wife wanted this conversation to happen." They sat on the small stone bench beside the grave. Lily climbed onto it too, still hugging her rabbit tightly. She looked at Elena with a kind of timid warmth, the same kind Elena remembered in Sarah's eyes. Daniel took a shaky breath and began. 2 years ago, he and his pregnant wife, Emily, had been in a remote coastal village overseas where they volunteered as teachers. A severe storm hit, worse than anyone predicted. The area flooded fast, communications went down, panic spread. Daniel was swept away by the current and injured. Emily, 8 months pregnant, was trapped inside a collapsing shelter. A Navy rescue team was dispatched. Among them was Lieutenant Sarah Ward. Daniel described it like a miracle wrapped in chaos. Sarah broke into the collapsing shelter, pulled Emily out despite debris falling around them, and carried her across a flooded street with waves hitting up to her shoulders. Daniel still remembered seeing Sarah stumble, choking on seawater, but never letting go of Emily's hand. "You weren't supposed to survive," Daniel whispered. "She saved both of you." Lily leaned against Elena. The Admiral stiffened at first, then slowly, instinctively, placed an arm around the child. Daniel continued, voice heavy. "Emily gave birth at the base hospital that night. Lily, she was born early but healthy. And Emily, she made me promise that if anything ever happened to her, I would bring Lily here so she would know the name of the woman who saved her life." Elena looked at Lily, her heart trembling. When Emily passed away from cancer a year later, Daniel struggled, working nights as a janitor, raising his daughter alone, trying to fill both shoes. "But I promised her," he said. "So we come every year. I tell Lily stories about your daughter. About how brave she was. About how she fought for strangers." Elena's tears fell freely now, no military discipline strong enough to hold them back. For the first time since Sarah's death, she felt something shift inside her, a wound finally beginning to heal. Daniel hesitated, then asked the question he had clearly been holding back. "Admiral, would it be okay if we continue coming? I don't want to overstep. But my daughter, she loves your daughter. She calls her the angel soldier." Lily looked up at Elena with innocent hope. Elena swallowed the ache in her throat. "You're not overstepping," she said. "In fact, I would be honored." Lily smiled, a pure, bright smile that made the cemetery feel a little less cold, a little less lonely. Daniel wiped his tears, trying to hide the years of gratitude he carried. Elena placed a hand on Sarah's headstone. "For so long, I wanted to understand why Sarah went into that collapsing shelter. Navy told me she made a split-second decision. But now I know, she saw a family. A mother. A child." Daniel nodded. "She didn't save us because it was her duty. She saved us because that's who she was." For the first time, Elena felt something close to peace. The sun broke through the clouds above them, warm light falling over the three of them, the Admiral, the single dad, and the little girl whose life was a living testament to Sarah's sacrifice. Elena looked at Lily. "Would you like to come visit Sarah's old base with me someday? I think she would have loved you." Lily nodded excitedly. Daniel looked stunned, deeply moved. In that quiet cemetery, something unexpected happened. A grieving mother found the missing piece of her daughter's story. A broken single father found someone who understood his gratitude in pain. And a little girl found a new family connection to the woman who saved her life before she was even born. Sometimes miracles don't come as lightning or thunder. Sometimes they come as a small child's whisper at a grave. And the healing begins where the heartbreak once lived.